Getting started with customer insights data on speed for 20 minutes. This is something I can talk for, well, about 4 days on, because that's how long the certification used to be. So I can talk for a long time about this, but let's try and condense it into a short 20 minutes. So this is me. This is my QR code for LinkedIn. I've been in the community since, well, I started back in 2018, which all of a sudden is a long time ago. So I've been an MVP and an MCT, and I've been what's now called an MCT community lead for 2 years. So I do I talk for a living. That's kind of my thing. I started on the customer side, so I'm not a developer. I do not code. I will never code. I have never coded. I've passed the Power Platform Dev certification, so I can read code, but I don't actually code. But that doesn't stop me from being good at dynamics. So I have a marketing background, and that is kind of why I steered into customer insights. Love customer insight journeys. I've done a lot of presentations, and I work a lot with customer insights journeys, which people understand. That is not the same for customer insights data. So love the community. I'm a big Liverpool fan. I laugh often, and you can, a lot of the times at events, you can follow the sound of my laugh and you will find me long before you see me. A bit of warning. I normally don't put almost any text on any of my slides. So warning, this is what you see if you go to the Microsoft sites and try to read about what customer insights data is. Customer insights data helps you personalize. There's a lot of words. There are long words. And for my sake, after I read this, I still have no idea what it is. I still don't know what it can do. And they have words like this: customer data platform, a CDP that helps you deliver personalized customer experience by unifying and analyzing. I have no idea. I understand all of the words, but it doesn't actually tell me anything. So that was a lot of words, and I did not expect any of you to read all of them at all. But how can you then try to understand? I took this text and I went to Copilot. And I said, okay, so take this text and explain it to me like I am 10. So how can I understand what customer insights data is? Helps you know your customers better. That tells me a bit more. It doesn't tell me a lot about how I can do it or any of that, but I get kind of an understanding of where do we want to go with this. Well, I want to understand my customers. Okay, but what's a CDP? What can I customer data platform? Don't we have like 50 of those already? So imagine you have this big box of Legos. I know a lot of community members love Legos. I do myself, so it's easy to explain with Legos. So this is your data. This is your company's data. Everything is mixed. They're all in your tenant. Well, if you're lucky, they're all in the same place. They're in different kind of apps. They're all over the place. And to start finding and start building your customers, it's a lot of work and it's messy. So a CDP, a customer data platform, is a way to organize all of this data. So put all the different data you have about the customers into boxes. And now you have a more visual and a simpler way of looking at your data. So for example, what kind of websites do they where on your website do they go? Have they visited stores? Have they downloaded apps? Have they read emails? Any of the information you have on your customer already. So with this information proper stored and proper aligned with everyone and organized correctly, then it's easier for companies to understand their customers. Because all of this data are things you have already. So, I mean, how much data does every company have about their employees or their customers? A ton. Is it structured? Maybe some of it. Definitely not all of it. So, is it finally true? We've been hearing this from Microsoft for years. So this is CRM is your 360-degree view of your customer. Well, it wasn't completely true, but have we gotten here? Is this the system that can finally give us this view of our customer? Well, we're consultants, so it depends. Depends on where your data is, how much data you have, and how much work you do trying to organize all of this data. So what we're trying to do, we're back to the Legos. We're trying to take all this data and then sort it. And then once we've sorted it, then we want to arrange it. And once we've arranged it, then we want to present it visually so we understand what we have. But after we've done all of this work, we want to take all of that data, all of these building blocks we have of our customer, and then we want to explain our information about our customer. Then we can start building this house, and then we can start building that story that is our customers. And that is when we start building our digital twin. So this is in the data world, in the CDP world, there are a lot of customer data platforms out there. Some are super expensive and tricky to understand and get access to. But I think Microsoft makes it a lot easier and a lot more understandable. And of course, the fact that it's tightly connected to the customer insight journeys just makes it even easier. So the thought behind the digital twin is that we're building a replica of our customers. The more information and the more building blocks we have, the easier it is to see the customer and to understand the full picture of the customer. If we're missing a hand in our picture of the customer, where do we store this data? Do we have this data? Is there somewhere in our information sphere that we can get hold of this data and that we can make this digital twin even better? So that is the idea behind customer insights data. It is making your data more structured and building this digital twin for our customers so that we have a better picture, and then we can use this information. So the more I know about my customers, the better and smarter I can do my marketing to them. So I want to sell you something. I don't want to sell you something you already have. I definitely don't want to do. I bought tickets for the theater today. So I first got an email saying, hey, we have this show, kids theater, and here, get a discount. Perfect. They know I have a kid. They send this information. Perfect. So I buy the tickets after, I think, 10 minutes after the email came. Got my confirmation. 2 hours later, I got a new email saying, hey, there are still available tickets for this theater. Like, why are you wasting this email? It just makes you look stupid. don't send me invites to things that I already have bought information or bought tickets for. So it is all about using the data you already have and market better. So your turn. Where do you start? How do you start? How complex is it? How complex can you make it? Again, it depends. We're consultants, but this truly depends. Start in trials.dynamics.com, and right now you have 2 customer insights try now buttons. One is for marketing and one is for the customer data platform. I recommend starting both trials and seeing how they can work together. But if you do start a trial, you get, oh, this was bright. You do get a new environment and that you have for 30 days. So you can test out all of this. So you have customer insights data. What you can do is you can either create your own environment, or if you don't want to do all the work and you just want to see how it works with data, because putting all this data into the system takes a lot of time. So what Microsoft has done, they have built a demo system. And in this demo system, they have industries. So of course, default that's the easy one to pick for everyone. But if you have any customers in any of these industries, then there is a fully working demo that you can show to your customers about customer insights data, which really helps because putting the data in takes a lot of time. A lot of time. And having this, you can't do a lot with, so you can't add your own flair to it. But for a starting demo for a customer, it helps tremendously. But if you want to start with your own environment and you want to start putting in information, then the first place you start is by adding data sources. Now, this does not have to be a Microsoft data source. So you can go elsewhere. You can connect this to any data source, depends on how much you want to pay, but if you pay a lot and you want to develop things yourself. But here you can connect to all your data sources. And right now, the release notes are out, so we know there are a lot more data sources coming. Fabric, all of it, of course, Dataverse, but you can also use the Power Query or any of the Azure Data Lakes and Delta Lakes and Synapse and all of this. So if you have done some work, for example, with Power BI, and you have created this Azure Delta Lake, Data Lake Delta, it's a hard word, and you want to just connect to that because you have all the other data sources going into that, then that will make it a lot easier. Or use Power Query. In Power Query, you have a lot of different sources. So you can have your Excel spreadsheet. Excel is still the most used CRM system. Or any other. You can also have APIs, or you can drag a file. I do have a file of about 100,000 customers that comes from a demo system. So I tend to upload this just because it's easy. I connect to it. I then do the work with the data. What do I want in? This takes time. Like I have a workshop with a customer tomorrow about customer insights data. We're going to go through all of this. So what are the different columns you need? Because you need to do this work no matter which data source you have. So which columns do you want to add in? What type of data do you want? What type of data is it? Is it numbers? So crunching the data and working with the data is a lot of work. So getting all the different data sources into the system. And remember, this is a very Norwegian phrase, TTT. Things take time. Have patience, because after you've clicked import, depending on the amount of data, it might take a long time for the data to come into the system. So don't schedule a full workday with your customer expecting to be done in a day and expecting to have gone through all of this. It takes time. So now when you have all the data into the system, now you have to do all the mapping so that you make sure that your name, is it first name, last name, or is it full name? Depending on the data sources, it might look differently, so you have to map all of this together. Is the email address, is the phone number, how is it stored? How do all the different data sources map together so that your customer is one person, no matter how many different systems they come from? Deduplication, we all have super good control over all our duplicates, right? So not a lot of work to do there. Matching rules, how do we match people? And the unified data view, we can enrich the information, we can create segments based on the information we have, we can get insights on this segments, we can use these segments in customer insight journeys and do marketing for these people. Measurements such as churn score and other types of information. I'm rushing through because time. Get some predictions based on the information and the data you have in the system. And now you have built this 360-degree view of your customer that we've always wanted. So how, no matter where the information of the customer comes from, you get this full view of the customer in Customer Insights data. And that means some of this is from the demo data. So here you have the banking demo, and here you have the government demo. So you can see that it's a bit different. But again, there's so much to gain. Every single customer I work with, they start talking about, we want to be data-driven. Okay, how? We want to be data-driven. Okay, but where do you start? How do you do that? How can you be data-driven? And this is one of the biggest factors I see for customers to become data-driven and to use the information that they have. So there aren't a lot of blogs and a lot of information. I do have some. I have blogged some. Pauline has blogged some. Please, if you have any other people who do some blogging on especially Customer Insights data, then please share them with me, because I'm always looking for more. Microsoft has some good pages on this, on Learn, the getting started, and the recommendations and everything. There's also some good videos. I can post all of this in the chat. I don't know if we have any time for questions.
Maybe 1 minute. Does anyone have a burning question? If not, I'm hoping you'd also take questions via like either in the chat or on your own LinkedIn afterwards as well. Would be awesome.
Yes, I do.
Why don't we... Oh, Dan. I don't know if Dan was trying to clap, but I accidentally raised their hand. That often happens on these calls.
As Pauline says, or join our workshop at Color Cloud in Hamburg. So we have a one-day workshop for the Customer Insight General side of the new certification, the MB280.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for a great presentation. That was so good. I know.